Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that should make every ChatGPT user pause for a second. Before we continue, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more top stories. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, the guy behind ChatGPT, just dropped a major warning. Don't treat ChatGPT like your therapist or lawyer, because those chats might not be private. And the wild part? Most people had no idea. So let's break this down. What did Sam Altman actually say? Why is this such a big deal? And what does it mean for how we use AI every day? Altman recently went on this past weekend with Theo Von and casually dropped a truth bomb. He said a lot of people use ChatGPT like it's a private therapist or even like a digital diary. But here's the kicker. Those chats aren't confidential. OpenAI can be legally required to share them. And in some cases they could be used in court. He literally said, if you go talk to ChatGPT about your most sensitive stuff, and there's a lawsuit, we could be required to produce that. And I'm sitting there like, wait, what? That's kind of a huge deal, right? Private confessions, even spiritual stuff. But here's the problem. ChatGPT is not a therapist. It's a tool trained on the internet. It doesn't come with confidentiality laws like a doctor or a lawyer, so all those personal secrets, they could be sitting in a server somewhere. Now you might be thinking, okay, but who's really going to access those chats? Let's imagine a few scenarios. You're in a custody battle, and someone subpoenas your ChatGPT chats. You confess something in the middle of a legal investigation. You admit to self-harming thoughts, and it gets flagged. Any one of those things could be taken out of context and used against you. And guess what? There's no AI therapist-client privilege. Sam Altman's basically saying, use it at your own risk. Okay, let's get into the privacy stuff. OpenAI says they don't train their models on user conversations by default, but that's only if you turn off chat history. If you're using ChatGPT with history on, your data might be seen by OpenAI reviewers to improve the system. They claim it's anonymized. But what if you typed something super personal? A name, an address, a confession. Think about it. How many of us just type stuff like, I'm depressed. I think I love my coworker. I don't know if I'm a good parent. That data might not be as private as you think. Sam Altman's warning isn't just about lawsuits. It's about how we've started to trust AI like it's human. He even admitted that people trust ChatGPT too much. I still hallucinates. It makes stuff up. You shouldn't rely on it too heavily. So you've got a tool that sounds smart, feels safe, isn't legally private, and still makes stuff up. That's a recipe for serious misunderstanding. And Altman says we need laws to catch up fast before people get hurt. Here's where things get interesting. Sam Altman thinks we need a new kind of legal protection, something like AI privilege. Think of it like how you talk to a therapist, doctor, or lawyer. Those convos are protected by law. He believes we need the same protection for AI, especially because millions of people now turn to AI for emotional support. But here's the problem, that kind of law doesn't exist yet. Governments are still catching up. And companies might not want that level of responsibility. So for now, you're on your own. I use ChatGPT. You probably do too. It's amazing for productivity, ideas, research, even writing. But here's the takeaway from Sam Altman's warning. Treat AI like a tool, not a person. Don't treat it like your diary. Don't treat it like a therapist. And definitely don't pour your heart into it and assume no one will ever see it. Until laws change, the safest bet is, if you wouldn't say it in public, don't type it into an AI. So what do you think? Should AI chats be private? Would you be okay with your conversations being used in court? Have you ever typed something personal into ChatGPT? Imagine this, you're going through something heavy. Maybe it's personal, emotional, or even a little dark. Instead of texting a friend, you open up ChatGPT, you pour your heart out. You hit enter, and you feel a little relief. But what if I told you that everything you just typed could be used against you in court one day? Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, just said something that everyone needs to hear. And today we're reacting to it, because this might be one of the most important things you hear about AI all year. Let's break this down from the top. In a recent podcast with Theo Von, Sam Altman dropped a line that honestly left a lot of people shaken. He said, and I quote, if you go talk to ChatGPT about your most sensitive stuff, and then there's a lawsuit, we could be required to produce that. Boom. One sentence. And just like that, The illusion of private conversations with AI? Gone. So let's talk about what that actually means. Over the past year, we've seen a massive shift. People use AI not just for coding or writing emails. They use it to vent about relationships, work through anxiety, talk about breakups, get clarity on moral decisions. It's become a digital diary, a judgment-free zone. But here's the kicker. AI is not a therapist. It doesn't come with confidentiality. And OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, can be legally forced to hand over those conversations. Let's say you're involved in a messy divorce. Or maybe you're part of an HR complaint at work. Or worse, you get caught up in something criminal, even if you're innocent. If a lawyer subpoenas your AI chat logs, and OpenAI has them, because unlike talking to a doctor, a lawyer, or even a priest, there's no legal protection for conversations with ChatGPT. That's what Sam Altman was trying to highlight. People don't realize how exposed they are when they type private thoughts into a machine. Here's the deeper issue. Sam said people trust ChatGPT too much. Why? Because it feels human. It's calm, it's polite, it responds fast, and it remembers what you said earlier in the convo. But it also hallucinates facts, gives false answers, isn't a real person. And while people think they're safe behind the screen, they're actually creating a paper trail, one that could come back later in ways they never expected. Let's imagine some real situations. A student uses ChatGPT to talk about suicidal thoughts. That chat gets flagged and triggers an investigation. Someone jokingly types something edgy or dark, and it's taken seriously. A partner confesses something that turns up later during legal proceedings. These aren't just what-ifs. These are possible realities, especially if these chat logs are stored or reviewed by moderators, which, by the way, does happen when chat history is on. Now, to be fair, OpenAI does allow users to turn off chat history. When you turn it off, your conversations don't get used to train the model. But here's the problem. Most people don't know that. They just assume everything is private. And that's the trap. That's why Altman's warning matters. Because millions of users are treating this like a locked journal, but it's more like a Google Doc that the company can read. So what's the solution? Altman says there needs to be new laws, ones that give people AI privilege, like doctor-patient confidentiality. That way, if you pour your heart out to an AI, those chats can't be used against you. But that kind of legislation doesn't exist yet. And until it does, we're responsible for what we say to the machine, which means it's up to us to set boundaries, even if the tech feels human. Here's my honest opinion. I don't think Sam Altman said this to scare people. I think he said it because we're in a new era, and nobody's ready. We're using tools that feel like friends, but they're still owned, monitored, and vulnerable to legal systems. So moving forward, just remember, AI can help. AI can listen. But AI can also record. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever shared something super personal with ChatGPT? Should AI conversations be legally protected? Do you think this will change how people use these tools? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Like, share, and subscribe if you found this video helpful. And remember, the safest way to keep a secret might just be to not type it at all. Peace.